I've always been very active. A lot of people call me a mover, and I have to say, like in my neighborhood, there were so many kids, we were baby boomers, and everybody was out playing, so it started out in the streets. And then grammar school, I don't really remember. I went to, it was K through 5th grade, so I don't remember anything very organized during that time. And then in middle school, we did have a little bit of track, and everything was measured in yards. And I always loved to run, and we had like a turkey trot, so a lot of low-key sort of thing. And our 100 yards was actually uphill on asphalt, so our times were never as good, at the home, court there. In high school, track in cross country had started 2 years before I came. And there was a real star. Her name was Sarah Sweeney, and she went to the state meet in the mile for 4 years. So when you see women sort of crack the ice or break the unforeseen territory, it makes it possible for you. So so a lot of us started to just aspire to her her talent, and there were some great role models. Definitely, I grew up in Marin County. And a lot of the high schools had really good female athletes. And I had come from, pretty intense training in high school, and I did work in a counselor's office, and a lot of times the college representatives would come around, the recruiters. So I listened to a lot of college recruiters, so I knew actually what was out there, whether it was sports or nursing. And then I did talk to several nursing students, and I knew for a fact I wanted to go to USF's nursing program. Nursing was very demanding, and if you wanted out in 4 years, because many of us had come from directly out of high school, not everybody, but most of us, and so we had clinicals, so sometimes we had to be at the psych unit at 6 a.m. or SF General. There was such a variety of hospitals around here, so that was great. In addition to that, we had to go to the hospitals the day before we actually even saw the patients, to do case studies, and they were very extensive. We had labs that would go on for 3 hours, so whether it was research or biology, there's cadavers, and so you go to your 1 hour class, and then you have lab sessions. So the schedule was full. I remember freshman year taking 18 units, and then some of us worked. I don't think I did freshman year, but later years as a nurse's aide, because I really wanted experience. A lot of women definitely liked to move and participate in sports, and it was quite well known that some colleges had more to offer than others, and that the sports generally, it wasn't super equal for men and women, because usually at most colleges there'd be more offerings for men versus women, and that was certainly true here. But I feel like USF was really making an effort, even when we were here, the fact that there was a cross-country team, and they actually brought us to big meets and started to buy us things, and so I saw the progression, so there was a real sense that USF was trying to work towards Title IX and equality. So Sue was wonderful. She was the women's basketball coach, excellent basketball player. And we meet her on day one. I think it's 6 a.m. in the morning, which that's not my best hour. And we're in the gym, Memorial Gym, and Sue has us there doing, basketball drills. You had a term for it, suicides and back and forth. And I had played, I think, a little bit of basketball, but I was like, oh my gosh, so you can actually do basketball drills and become a better runner. So I was on board, and we did have double workouts. So we did the morning, basketball drills, and then she would drop us off down by Ocean Beach, and we'd have to run up Fulton. And for those of you that remember the buses, they're still there, the Muni bus with all the exhaust and the fumes, we had to inhale that and run as fast as we could up Fulton. So I was one of the first ones to suggest perhaps we could run through Golden Gate Park. Her spirit was incredible. One other funny aside was we'd always have a huddle before the race would start, and one time she goes, now get out there on the court. Get out there on the course and, have a good race. That's huge to me, is the whole concept of team. And it is true, you learn a lot about yourself, and then you learn so much about how to work with other people, and you can't win every day. So when you lose, you try to figure out, well, where were the problems, and then you become very solution oriented. And interestingly enough, I've practiced a lot of that through nursing as well, because, you know, in many aspects of your life, there's always some problems, but how do you solve those problems? You know, what are the solutions? And as a group, can we all come to the table together to make it happen? And to me, that seemed kind of natural, because so much of my life was being a team player. And I actually really did think after college, you're pretty much done with sports, you know, like, so, you know, I was very surprised to hear that there was a group of women that were actually training in Golden Gate Park, you know, and they're part of this Impala, you know, running team. And it was quite small at the time, and a lot of the women were in their 40s, and they were training for the Oakland Marathon. And one of the gals that was on the soccer team, Nancy, had told me about it. So I think there were 3 of us that were like around the same age, and everybody else was quite a bit older, like even more than 10 years older. And I was so impressed with them, so like new heroes now. And talk about pioneers. Some of these women had run races like in cutoffs before, and the old, I don't know if you remember the old boat or anchor shoes, you know, back in the day. So we were a little bit ahead of that, but not certainly where it is now. So anyway, I've been a member for 35 years. We have over 150 active women, you know, in age ranging from like 20 up to like 75, you know. So it's been an incredible thing, and it's so wonderful to know that you can continue on in sports even after college. Looking back, it's wonderful to know that, okay, so we helped plant the seeds, and how wonderful that these women have been given the opportunity. So, you know, you gotta thank USF for providing the opportunity, and good for Charlotte to, like, she's a pioneer, like she, you know, to take it to that level and to attract more people of that caliber. And that's sort of been the history of whether it's men's or women's, you know, that's how you get, you know, bigger traction.